Well. Old man Eric, we're back
Old man Eric in the house.
in the house. So we are true to our word,
We are.
late, but this is Mythicast 126 Crux Creator to continue our desired goal to have conversations around featured lists, the Crux Creator amazing app that Nick created for the game, which is the house for everything Mythic Earth tabletop games at the moment, right?
Absolutely. It's the hub.
Our first episode was a Mythicast Crux Creator, and we went through Eric's Aztec list in great detail. Today we're going to do the same for my Inca list because now that we are in our new home, I plan to spend a lot of time playing Mythic Earth, Mythic Americas
You
at the
know,
shop.
I played against this list. When you first put it together, it was only half painted, I think. And
It's
we
still
actually did
only
a
half
game.
painted.
Yeah, it was I think we got through like three turns and then it got busy. But I remember the list and it's a solid list. I have things to say about it, but
Okay,
um,
good.
let's get games in. That's really it. Now that you're in the new place.
Yeah. It's been today's kind of like the last day where we have an event. I don't know what the game is. The Saturday. It's like it's a soft launch kind of. There's been a soft launch kind of week, and the place has been packed so much for a soft launch, right?
I've
But
seen
it's
the
still,
pictures.
yeah, it's still jam packed with crap everywhere. So today the Martinez clan is getting together, and we're all going to go clean up the place and get it super spiffy for Saturday. What's today's date? Today's October the 17th.
Is it the seventh? Yeah, 17.
Yeah, so today's October the 17th. Mythicast 126 Crux Creator. And what we're going to do is we're going to share our screen so that everybody can see the Crux Creator. And then we're going to do a little brief. And Eric, you can do this if you like. A little brief description of what the Crux Creator is and all the things, the cool things you can do. And then we'll just jump into the list.
Let's go.
You good? All right. So here we go. So, of course, combined ages for us are 130 years old. And I say to everybody, stick it where the sun don't shine. We don't care. We might be old, but we're geniuses and we're hot. All right. So this is the Crux Creator that everyone can use. I happen to be an administrator. Fancy.
Yeah,
You're
me
an
too.
administrator too, right? So
That's
we're both
right.
fancy pants. And so this is the portal that you and I see, but it's not that much different to what you at home will see once you start using it. So, Eric, take it away.
So, at its foundation, Crux Creator is a list builder. So, for all our nine factions, it has everything you'd need to build your list in the app. But what's really special about it is that everything collateral wise that you need to play the game is included in the Crux Creator. You can download magic cards, blessings, literally anything you need to play the game on the table. You
Yeah,
can
and
save your list.
actually, I'm gonna show everybody. So
Yeah.
these are the cards that I printed from the Crux Creator. I put them in these, fancy little sleeves. Where these cards, the cards for the magic and the blessings and all that stuff are the last of the in production items because we were focused on getting the cards ready
Yeah.
for the Kickstarter, which we have shipped lots and lots and lots and lots of those. I'm not quite sure all of them, but almost all of them. And just so you know, what just to add to it, I did props because I knew you were going to talk about this. So you can print your roster, you can print all of your special talents, you can print the cards exactly. You can print everything that you need to play the game. You can make your own cards. You can make your print your roster in unit cards the way I have it in my little deck here, like this. Oh, you can't see it, but there it is.
Yeah, I have my box of cards, everything I need right here.
Your spells, your blessings. So everything is there. So honestly, if you have the rule book, oh heck, the rule book is even on there. So if you have the rule book, the printed rule book, which I recommend you do because it kind of supports our little company. It's funny, there it is. But that is anything you ever need to play the game. It's all pretty handy and easy to get. So there you go.
And what's also special about this is that you can share your lists. So you don't have to send an attachment. You can literally just send a link and people can take a look at your list. And what we're also going to be doing is a special feature, which is featured lists, which is what we're doing today, talking about a featured list that Nelson put together. We're going to be looking through the lists that people have put together and posted and choose lists to talk about each week, as long as we can keep to our schedule, and hopefully even get some of the community online to talk about their list and why they put it together that way.
Yeah, and our goal, honestly, is to focus on the list from a constructive point of view. We're not here to criticize everybody's list because lists are a reflection of people's personalities, right? So, they put a list together. Maybe they put a list together because they like the models. Maybe they put a list together because, they're trying to build a quote unquote meta list. Maybe, but at the end of the day, it's all very personal. So we try to look at a list and find the cool things in that list and the things that we appreciate as game designers, and really just kind of get into it. All right, so feature lists. Right now, there are only 2 feature lists on there because we're literally just starting this. And the first one we went over, that was Eric's Sans IR list, a list without an IR. And the second list that's on there is the Lord Mortis the Mad list, which is Lord Mortis is my nickname from how many years now, dude, of playing games? You and I, 35?
Yeah, I think so. I think combined we're about 70 years worth.
1990, right? Was that when we were
yeah
GTs down in Baltimore?
Yeah, down in Baltimore. I remember being at the second one ever, which was actually at the airport in Baltimore.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my God, those are the days. So that's where old man Eric and I start, man.
Yeah.
Back in 1990, playing Warhammer Fantasy, and Lord Mortis came from the fact that I only ever played either vampire counts or Bretonnians, and mostly vampire counts because I just love the undead, zombies, and all that other dark stuff.
Well, who are you talking to? I'm Mr. Undead. I had my vampire counts and my empire. That was something. That was the day of the pub quiz.
Oh yeah, those are fun. Those are fun. Quiz. Yeah. I mean, look, I think actually, we have to give sort of kudos to Warhammer Fantasy because, if you got to give credit to Rick Priestley for coming up with that awesome idea of like, oh, we should do historicals, Napoleonics, but with goblins and elves. Brilliant, great idea, right?
It was.
So our maybe not as brilliant, but it's still a good idea, of like, we should represent underrepresented peoples on the tabletop and make a really cool game around it. Is I think partly inspired by our experience as Warhammer Fantasy players, for sure.
Yeah, I think that one of the unique things about us and our company is that we're pretty much all gamers, and have played almost every major game out there and quite a few of the minor games. So our approach is from a gamer standpoint. We've made all the mistakes just in playing other companies' games, and the whole crew's brought that experience here to Mythic Earth.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, all right, so let's go through this. I'm trying to. That's the list. That's the PDF of the list, by the way. It's like the downloads this way. Where I was talking about the printout that I did. So there's the roster in a PDF format. So you can just easily look at it. And then the entire roster will download with your spell cards for both Ever Living and Ever Changing. So you can easily make your own cards. The blessing cards for both the Ever Living and the Ever Changing. If you have a behemoth or anything that has its own blessing, it'll also be on here. So yeah, it's pretty much everything that you could. So here's the Maris, right? So I said that's the behemoth that I have on my list, and so it'll be very easy for everyone to kind of have every little material that they need, including all of the secondary objectives and the devotions to the way, kind of the blessings and everything that you need. It's all here. So that the Crux Creator was really made to be the hub for everything Mythic Earth, and ideally everyone is in the process of using it at some point. I think it's hugely helpful for people to to kind of get used to using it because it really does help tremendously. All right, so let's go through this. Oh, look, more scheduled conference calls. So let's go through this because I said keep doing it. Um, let's start. Let's start uh, with our list. And let me. I think I have it open. So there you go. All right. So
Here it is.
for this, there's the list, and the list as I have it is. I'm going to check something out first. Yeah. Um, the list as I have it was really kind of built on two things. One, the way I play this game, it's the way I play every other game, is just really I try to bring in the cool models that I like. Pick a faction that kind of really speaks to me and from a personal point of view. And then really focus on the objectives. I know we've said this a billion times in every kind of podcast that we ever put together. But for me, it's about objective. So I want a balanced list that lets me do the things that the objectives demand, right? So you must have a warlord general model, right? As Incas, we have two choices, right, Eric? We have
Absolutely.
they're both Saba warlords, one on foot, and or the other one who is an absolute meat grinder is the Sapa warlord on a spirit jaguar with
Yes.
jaguar bodyguards.
So what I really like about the Sapa Warlord, especially mounted, is that he has a Brave 10, and that's huge.
Yeah.
It's one of the few that has a Brave that's high, and mounted, he can get around quickly to wherever he's needed, and just lend out that bravery when he needs to. So,
Yeah.
exceptional Warlord.
He's great. I think for me, one of the aspects that I appreciate about what he does as a general, and actually going to look at something here because it's kind of important for him is the fact that he is got commanding presence and follow. Those are great things to have. Follow is just awesome, especially if you combine it with depending on how you're playing, the game and where you are on the battlefield. Follow just allows you to get that free move, basically,
Mm-hmm.
or march even move at the double. But if he does choose to use follow, and so it's a nice way to position yourself and kind of push on the board places where you need to push. So because of the fact that he's got shield wall, he's also very durable. Just like anyone else in the Inca Force that has shield wall, shield wall is just a great underrated rule. But the way I run them in this list, so this list I thought was kind of it's a kind of a storyline in my head about a down and out warlord a little bit, like maybe his area, his Chuyu out in the Andes has been attacked several times, and he's got to go out to search for some help or a solution to save his community and his villagers and his collection of villagers, and so he can't really swing a spirit jaguar. Like he just doesn't have it. He's just like
Doesn't have the oomph.
he doesn't have the oomph, he doesn't have the magic, he doesn't have the ability. He's got like just enough to get some really ass kicking bodyguards to go with them, and he put together a nice. By the way, this force is exactly 1,000 points.
I was going to commend you on that. I
Yeah,
almost never get exactly 1,000 points. I may even get 998, but never 1K.
I was shocked myself when once I realized I was close, and I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna like move stuff around and see if I can actually get to 1,000 points. So I managed to get it there. And just before we even go on, it's 7 units strong and 9 unit activation dice. When you're on the Crux Creator, you'll be able to see the equipment and the talents on here. For some reason on my computer today, because I don't know why, it's windy or something. I've been having all kinds of issues with the internet, but the Sapa Warlord is got all of his bodyguards that I can get on there. Bodyguards are important. They're like extra wounds.
Super important.
Um,
Even if they're just ablative wounds.
Yeah, exactly. Just soak up the wounds. Follow is enormous. Commanding presence is great. Shield wall, and he's got toughen one. He's got a Machinine. He's got medium armor. So he's just a tough nut to crack. And with his Cusco warrior bodyguards, um, he can go in there and fight. Again, his job. He's a humanoid, so he can hold objectives. He's a hero. He's a heroic figure, so he can help you in some of those objectives where you have to be around a heroic figure and or behemoth. So he does a lot of work for what he is at 157 points.
So one of the things that, as I was looking at the list, that um, kind of occurred to me with follow is one of the things that's unique to our game is that you pretty much never have double charges. Meaning that in a game where it's one side goes, the other side goes, you can line up and have two units charge one unit simultaneously, which really sways the combat. Our game doesn't really allow for that, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be a lot more strategic, but follow is a way to get closer to it. So if you have two units follow with you, if your dice are aligned right, that's when to use that follow. You can do the initial charge, the initial combat, and then follow up with a secondary charge into that same unit. And I love that aspect of follow.
Yeah, it lets you function as little groupings of units within the army, so you can really kind of design your force, which is kind of the way I play it. Depending on who I'm playing against, I may have him surrounded by archers,
Yeah.
so they can follow and get to a closer range. And then just make sure that my unit activation dice pool is designed in such a way that they get to shoot in the correct order that I need them to shoot in. You could even do follow so that you have your general, then you have a unit of archers maybe, and then you have a supai, ravager unit. So the archers, if you use your dice in the right way, the archers can shoot at something. The supai ravagers can then activate and go charge the unit that you shot at.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how you want to, follow is great in that way. Like you kind of think of court, using him in a coordinated manner with the other units. He's very good for that.
I think the
And
other thing, I'm sorry, go.
no, you go.
The other thing I really liked about the list, and it's funny when you start reading through these lists, and this is another great thing about the list builder that you can see people's lists. Um, Things occur to you that you should have been obvious, but they
Mhm.
aren't. And I love that your archers are 7 strong. For the life of me, don't ask me why, because I'm in the rules constantly all the time. I never even thought of doing more than 5. Maybe it's because um, I use my Eagle Warriors with slings, so I never really feel I need more than 5. But I'm looking at the number 7. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. That ups the odds of even a single hit and also a casualty out of your ranged attack. So I love that they're 7 strong. It's
Yeah,
inexpensive enough to do it.
yeah, I can sort of go into that as well. There's a little sort of fluff reason for that as well. Um, and then mathematically, I kind of the advantage of having written the Incas is I can kind of in my head I you know I have done the math and I think of 7 as a good number for a unit for the Incas because of the combination of rules. In general, it's a good number. Um, just because it just gives you that little extra survivability, but you don't have to spend all the points to get up to 10. But again,
Right.
it's all very stylistic, right? So I run a high priest because I like the idea that my high priest was sort of like stuck with this Sapa warlord and can't really get away from being the getting away from his court. So I'd like having a high priest. I also like having the high priest because the high priest really gives you a little bit more flexibility, in my opinion. So he's in there. He's a magic level 2. I rarely run a magic level 3 just because again, not for any other reason than for me, I'm always looking to squeeze points in other places. And so pushing him to a level 3 kind of takes me into a place where I just can't make all the other points work to get the cool models that I want in there.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
think the one advantage of a level three, because I don't really know that you ever need three spells, but it's the range, which again
yes,
didn't really occur to me. 20 inches seemed fine to me, but we were discussing lists with someone else, and they basically said they use a level three strictly for the range.
yeah, it's smart. I honestly, I totally understand why, and I know zero qualms with that approach. So look, he's there too. The Inca magic is pretty good. Um, there are some outstanding spells. The spells, I have particular favorites on the spells, and I'm actually going to look for them now. So part of my, the way I kind of write these things is based on my own personal experience, right? So as I was saying before, I lived in South America, in Colombia and Venezuela. I was always fascinated by the Incas because of the Andes, right? So Bogota is kind of around,
Yeah.
just imagine the foothills, right? And so for me, you know, Inca culture has always been like something that I'm fascinated by. So when I started writing these spells, that there's alpacas involved, and obviously the alpacas are because my family and I used to run an alpaca
Yeah.
farm or
Yeah.
ranch, right? And I know that alpacas are really super angry, cranky animals. And if you piss them off, they spit on you. They spit like stomach acid, basically, and it stinks to high
Awesome.
heaven. So I used to call them exploding alpacas. And I'm like, oh, well, there's my spell.
There you go.
Um, and the ever changing are really nasty little spells because they really start putting unit active, pins on people. So you brave status markers on folks on a regular basis, removing them from the units, putting it on the enemy. So it's got a really nice brave status marker control mechanic to it. So the high priest, I think, does enough of this. I don't really, everybody goes, oh my God, once you get Inti's guiding hand, um, you'd be amazed. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's ever living, right? So if I don't get ever living, I can't build a list dependent on that, on getting that spell, right?
Right.
Also, if you do get that spell and you have your archers next to your general, and you happen to have Inti's guiding hand, which why wouldn't you if you have ever living? Um, Pretty nasty to cast it on on one of those archer units, especially 7-man strong archer unit, to give them, one of the magical, ammunitions, or to get that free round of shooting, which is disgusting.
Yeah, you kind of raise a great point about ever living versus ever changing. I think what's wonderful about the system is simply that there are games where you bring the same list every single time and you do the same thing every single time. This is how the list works. So that's how you hit the table with it. And this is it. It does what it does. With our system, you can bring that same list every time and you have to play it differently no matter what, because you don't know where you're going to be going with this.
Exactly.
And the fact that, with my Aztecs, just simply the fact that I'm basically going to be defensive or more offensive, I love because I don't know. So again, I'm going to pick spells dependent on that. So I think it's a wonderful system because we always have to adapt.
Yep. And that's why I tell people just play for the objectives. If you build a balanced list and you play for the objectives, then you have all of the tools and every force to win the games.
Yeah.
All right. So you were mentioning the archers. I run 2 units of archers. One, I love the models. I just think the sculptors did a great job on these archers. I run 7 archers because I mentioned, it's a good
Mm-hmm.
mathematical balance that gives you survivability. It gives you a really good unit to do a variety of things. Remember, they're still soldiers, right? They can still hold objectives. They can still
Yeah.
go fight if they have to. Um, so for me, that the archers at 7, and also it's a holy number in our game. So the number 7 is a special number in some ancient mythologies, but also a special number in our own game. So I'd like to kind of keep to the theme of this warlord out there in the world doing the best that he can, using every little magic nuance that he can, or mythological nuance or whatever, hell, if he could carry rabbit's foot, he would carry rabbit's feet, just to kind of get a little luck on his side, because things have been rough for him. And so I have 2 units of anti-Suyu archers. I really, again, love these models. I love what they do, and I love how they work together. Um, I love the Maras. Like, to me, it's like one of my favorite models in the game. I really enjoyed painting this bad boy. Um, and I just love what he does. I mean, it's
Yeah, let's talk about him for a minute.
yeah,
Um, I'm going to tell you one of the things I love best about the first of all, the model is out of control. And he has a React 8. And I would tell people use that. React 8 is huge. And you put him on alert and you have a tremendous board control piece right there, because he can sit there and nobody wants to be charged or ranged attack by that Maris. So to me, he's wonderful for an on alert model with that React 8. And the other bonus that as someone who plays against that, never too happy about it, is the hit and run. Hit and
yeah,
run is a phenomenal bonus on that model.
yeah. So he honestly, I what he does on the battlefield is he terrifies people. If you know him, if you've played against the Maras and the person playing the Maras knows the Maras well, so he's massive, so he's easier to shoot, but he's got regeneration, which is
Well,
awesome,
why not?
right? So regeneration makes him super survivable. He's got a save of 8. He's got a brave of 9, so he's no schmuck. He's got dodge, and he's always moving, so dodge is going to help him survive. He's got this
Absolutely.
Dane, so he's going to be passing that first brave test. So he's less likely to have issues with brave test. Hit and run is disgusting, and I love hit and run because it works so well, especially if you happen to have Supai Ravagers on your list. Uh,
I was going to get to that.
yeah, and he's adaptable because he's got a variety of weapons and things that he could do. So as you know, he's 136 points, so he's not a super expensive behemoth for what he does. And he's also, because he's big and imposing, psychologically, he tends to attract a lot of fire, which is fine because it's one of those things that means that they're not shooting at something else. They're not
Right.
focusing on shooting something else in my force that I really need for objective purposes.
And I was going to say that in the context of our game where objectives are so big, the, you know, that Mara scares people so much that they're going to concentrate their fire. Meantime, they're leaving alone the actual scoring units.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I know he's a lot of points. Whenever I can, he's not a lot of points for what he does, but he's a lot of points within the context of 1,000 points.
Takes up a lot of room.
He does take up a lot of room in the list. It's always a kind of a fight with me because I love the Condor Riders, so I want the Condor Riders too, but I can't have them and have him. So I go with Maras, and in this list I went with him because I wanted to include the Supai Ravagers. I wanted to have a bit of a snake theme to the list, and so I did add some Supai Ravagers. Before that, I of course added some Cusco Warriors because Cusco Warriors are just, especially with spears, they're just great all around troops.
And they also have survivability. They have a save 7.
Yeah, and with Shield Wall, they could go camp out on an objective and just say,
Right.
"Okay, bring it,"
Yeah.
because I know there's only 5 of us, but we're going to make it tough on you. So,
Yeah.
I have a unit of Cusco Warriors at 92 points, not bad at all. And then, of course, the Supai Ravagers are, um, again, one of my favorite units in the game, just from a modeling experience. They work beautifully with the Maras. They work well with the Warlord. They work very nicely with. By the way, that was an explosion that if you heard that rumbling. There's a where I live in New Jersey, we've had earthquakes for the past year and a half,
Yeah.
and also we have a quarry like a few miles down the road, and they just love blowing stuff up.
I have that near me as well.
This is like, wow, holy crap. So my whole office just trembled, and that's what that was. I don't know if you actually heard it in the podcast. Um, but the Supai Ravagers, again, have hit and run. And aside from the amazing modeling experience, they just, they're really, really, and I've seen them do this. I've seen the hit and run. I've seen them hit. You can't just hit whatever you want, right? You have to be very selective. If you go hit a Wendigo, the Wendigo is going to be like, oh, snakes for lunch, love it, and then it's over, right? Or hell, an IR, right? I mean, yeah, they're just going to sit there, and it's going to be rough going. So the Supply Ravagers are going to be, they're going to be pretty disgusting. I run them in 4 models, and so they take up a lot of space on my list again. I mean, look at that. That's 269 points.
Yeah.
And I up them to 2 wounds each.
I think the thing I love about the Supe Ravagers the most, actually, just putting all the stats to the side, just the way they look on a table, they just look amazing on the table, and they're so animated as you move them around. And I'm a cinematic player. I'm less concerned with the win than telling a story and just seeing everything on the table on a really beautiful table. And those supes just moving around the table just look gorgeous. They're just so supine, and just the way they're animated is beautiful.
Yeah. So I listen. The other thing I do, and I know you do the same, is so if I include 7 models in a unit or 5 or whatever it is, I always paint up to the max of that unit, right? Because I don't know if I'm going to change my mind and make it 8 or 9 or 10. So, like on the archers, or even the warriors, I will paint the max number of models within a unit in a color that makes them a unit, or in a combination of colors or pattern that makes them a unit. So I have the option of using them in a variety of unit sizes. But I don't know. I love this list. I've run a variation of this list. When I change things up, as painful as it is, I will remove the Supai Ravagers and I'll add a unit of 4 Condor Riders, because I like them. I may run another unit of Cusco Warriors as well. I may sort of go down to an Oracle, but this is, I needed to pick something to paint and be done painting. And so I figured, okay, this is the list. No matter what, I got to make this list be the list that I run, for the fall and the winter and into next year to play at the shop and play against the club, other club members. So there's a lot of people playing Mythic Earth at the HQ. So I want to make sure that I have a list that can make it interesting for everybody. So I don't know. I like where it's going. So I'm glad I'm getting to share it with everybody. But that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, the list is interesting because it's, you see the Supe Ravagers and then you see the Maris, and I think most people are going to look at the list and go, "Oh my God, that's an insane list." But you actually are giving up a lot of humanoid units. You only have 1 unit of Cuscos. So
Well, I have the archers, so that's
2 units of archers, right?
And then,
but you also don't want to get too close with your archers.
no,
So right. So there's no question that's not an easy list to run around and win with. I think it has high kill power, but it's definitely a list that you need to know what you're doing on the table with that list.
Yeah, I agree. It's a small list. I mean, it
is very small.
There's not. I mean, 7 units. Okay. It's you're going to struggle if you lose 1.
Right.
But I do like the theme of it, and I think painted is going to look great. And I'm not going to win all my games with this list, but I am going to. It's going to look awesome, which for me is the big thing.
Right. Same with me. Again, I want to have a cinematic game. I want to have things that pop on the table. I want the army I want to play as opposed to an army that I think is going to be optimal.
Yeah.
Um, and that may have a lot to do with us being in the hobby for 5 years.
I think so. For us, is like, winning. First of all, when you write a game, do you really care about winning a tournament?
No.
I mean, I love seeing tournaments because I love seeing other players and how they interpret the rules and how they build forces and all that stuff. That's my joy. I mean, that's where I sort of, find the most enjoyment.
I had a discussion about that with someone once, and I said to them, I said, I think the crux, see what I did there, for me is I get just as excited when my opponent does something I never thought of doing or something that is an amazing move that may win them the game. I'm just as excited
Yeah.
because that's what I want to see on the table. So whether I did it or the opponent does it, I love it. I'm excited by it, and put together an awesome unit. It's the same way either way. That's
So
what I
we're
play.
gonna we're gonna go find lists this weekend.
Yes.
You and I, we're gonna find a list to make it the third list to feature. And I have some ideas I want to run by you on some lists that I've seen on the on the Crux Creator, and that'll be our next episode. So that's going to be a community list. We want to just kind of get these two introduction videos out there, podcasts out there for folks to kind of get used to using the Crux Creator. We see a lot of people using it, which is great. And it's just another great way for you to share your lists with us and what you're doing. There's a lot of stuff that's being added to it as we speak. The campaign creator we talked about last time,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be something that Eric and I are going to love doing now that we have a new home for the company. There's an event that you're going to be organizing that we had to move from September into October or early November. So that we'll kind of re-announce the date for that. And then we're off to PAX.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of questions on the event situation in PAX. It is not very clear as to what they did. But we do have an area to play in, so we will be running an event anyway. We just have to make sure that everybody's clear as to what that is and how many people and all that other good stuff. But yeah, man. So let's pick a list this weekend. We can talk about it, and then we will reach out if we have the contact information of the person who wrote the list. We'll reach out and ask you questions and opinions on your thinking on the list. And if you have time, we can get you on a Zoom call like this and have you discuss the list.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. So fingers crossed we find something we like. I know we will. I've seen a bunch of yeah. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of lists and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a couple of Tribal Nation lists and some Western Federation stuff. So all right, well, good. I'm hoping that once we get the list this weekend, probably next Thursday, Friday, we have more time and we'll do the next episode of this. Father Time may be back from vacation. The rumors are that he's been seen like Elvis in and out of reality. And so hopefully we'll get that other Mythicast going. But either way, this is going to be a regular for Eric and I on a weekly basis. If there's a delay, it'll be bi-weekly, but typically we should be on to discuss.
Delay?
Never, ever. We're always on time. But all right, everybody. We'll catch you on Mythicast 127, either Crux Creator or straight up Mythicast.
Okay, Mythicosians, we'll see you on Facebook and on Discord.
Make sure to like us on all of them and on the YouTube because we're getting a lot more followers on there, but we're really trying hard to put videos on there as well. So
like and subscribe and share, please. Thanks,
peace.
Guys.
All right, everybody. Catch you next time.